Okay.
And then what I'm going to do, Patti, is I'm going to mute all, and then you and Marsha will want to unmute yourselves, right?
Okay, please go ahead and get started.
Okay.
Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I see a lot of familiar names on the list, going over the RSVP list, and we miss seeing you all in person. So I'd like to just start by saying hugs to all of you from all of us. We missed you greatly. My name is Patti Cash, and I'm the owner of Magic Cruises and Tours. And yes, we have been here since 1988, and we're still counting. That's great. That's great. We've had a lot of fun, and time flies when you're having fun, that's for sure. Now, I also want to start by saying that I am very, very proud and very privileged to work with my amazing associates, commonly referred to the Magic Ladies, and we call them Magic for a reason. Our highly qualified travel counselors use their expertise to bring you great vacation experiences with personalized assistance. So if you've used our services in the past, you probably will agree with me on this. And if you have not, we welcome you aboard. Now you may know that we are nestled right in the heart of downtown Old Worthington, and our office is open for making safe appointments. And of course, we're always available to you by phone and by email as well. Now, while we're not currently traveling today, we are busy making lots of plans for the future. And today we're happy to either introduce you to or update you on the world of Oceania Cruises. We internally, we at Magic see what Oceania has been doing, and we know that they are primed to exceed your expectations when we do start cruising again. We want to share why we think they're a great choice and a great value for your next vacation. I mean, vacations are important, and we realize now how important they are. But before I introduce you to our guest speaker, I just want to point out that while all our guests are muted, there's a chat function down in the lower tray of your PC, and so you can send some questions in along the way. Marcia is going to be manning those questions. Say hi, Marcia.
Hi, everybody.
Everybody send Marcia a little chat. Send her a heart. Send her a little love note. All right. Now, again, we'll do questions and answers right at the end following our 30-minute presentation. So please stick around. And also, as I mentioned, the presentation is going to be recorded. So we'll send it out to you along with some other information to keep you updated. All right. So we have with us Miss Jodi Danyluk, helping us see the whole picture of Oceania Cruises, and we're delighted to have Jodi with us today. Welcome, Jodi. Please take it away.
Well, thank you so much, Patti, and the entire magical team at Magic Cruises and Tours. I have been selling dreams for over 30 years. I have been with my company for 17 plus years, and I was with our sister brand for 15 of those years, and 2 years ago, I upgraded to upper premium, and I am now representing the wonderful brand of Oceania Cruises. And one of the wonderful pleasures that I get is to work and partner with Magic Cruises. So I'm based out of Philadelphia, and occasionally I get to Patti's hometown and agency, and I miss them. It's been a long 9 months, but we've stayed connected and we work very, very well together. And all of you that have made the decision to join the call have already made a perfect decision, a perfect choice. When we sent the invitation out, we were monitoring the registrations, and just some observations. We have one that's cruised 24 times, 2 that have never cruised that are joining the call, 9 that are past guests, and we call them our loyal guests. 28 registered the very first day, 3 registered just yesterday, and many more in between. So I think we can all agree that we've got some very eager cruisers on the call today. So what we're going to do is we're going to start. And again, I thank you for joining us today. Excuse me. What you see right here is Remember the Future. And when we realized early on that this was going to be a long, difficult year, we had to revamp our entire marketing our entire brand campaign. And what we were doing in the past, while it was great and successful, it was not the perfect way to reach our guests, to reach you during this pandemic. So we came out with Remember the Future, because like you and like me, we have been dreaming of where we want to travel next. And that's really what the Remember the Future is all about. So many of our past guests and even new to brand have been booking, which is great. We're seeing a healthy trend, which is great. We just came off of our Labor Day sale with a 4-category upgrade, which broke a record in the history of the company. And that took time. It wasn't March, it wasn't April. But Remember the Future is our campaign and is just stimulating that desire to book and dream and travel once again. The very first question that we always get, whether from Magic or our partners or our other consumers or guests, is, Jodi, what is the cruising going to look like? And I want to let you know that we were actually working even before the pandemic. Early January, we were looking at ways of enhancing not only our shipside experience, but our shoreside experience. And fortunately, we had a head start. And we have been working diligently. We already laid out a foundation. And just yesterday, we presented, with the help of our Blue Ribbon panel, our health and sail panel, we presented the CDC with a 65-page report, which includes 74 best practices. And we want to not only deliver their expectations, but exceed their standards. And so stay in touch with Magic Cruises, because when we get the go-ahead, when we know what is going to be approved, Magic Cruises is going to know. Now, this slide is going to show you what our early foundation plan has been. And again, you can see that it's not just the safety for our ships, but for our guests and for our crew. We are taking every precaution for when we sail, not if, but when. And we know we're going to thrive because we have something that's great for all of you. But we're also taking very serious precautions on when you get off the ship and do the local tours. Well, we want you to know that they're going to be compliant as well. So why Oceania Cruises? I looked at everyone's answers, and boy, oh boy, have we got some very experienced cruisers on the call today. We have 9 that have sailed on Oceania and 40 plus that haven't. So why Oceania Cruises? Well, I know the past guests know why, because our loyal guest percentage is over 60%. But the new to brand, I want you to know that these are the 3 pillars of distinction that we carved out from day one, over 17 years ago. We always wanted to have small ships. We always wanted to excel in our cuisine, and we wanted to curate the best travel experience. You roll those 3 pillars up, and that is what our demographic, that is what our Oceania guest is looking for. So the small ship luxury, we absolutely have the most luxurious ships and small ships. We have 6 in our fleet. 4 are in the Regatta class. That's the Regatta, Nautica, Insignia, and Serena. These 4 beautiful ships are the perfect size, now better than new. They were all re-inspired starting in 2018 in December. The Insignia sailed the around the world guests with a brand new ship smell in January of 19. The Regatta was September, the Serena was in May, and the Nautica was slated to be re-inspired this past June, but for obvious reasons, she will be re-inspired in April or May of next year. But look at that grand staircase. When you walk on board the ship for the first time, or second or third time, this is the main deck. This is where the reception and the destination services and to the bow and forward, all of these wonderful restaurants. But look how small that grand staircase is. And I want you to keep this image in your mind as we walk through this presentation, because this is as small and as luxurious as they get. 684 guests. The guest to staff ratio is very impressive and a little over 30,000 gross tonnage. Our Oceania class is the other class. So we've got the Regatta class, we've got the Oceania class, and these are slightly larger, but still small in the cruise industry. 1,250 guests. Again, a very impressive guest to staff ratio. But because of the size, we have introduced new lounges and activities that the smaller ship, the Regatta class, do not have, such as hand-on cooking class in the Culinary Center and La Reserve, which is where I will share with you what you can do in La Reserve. The Oceania class is a little over 66,000 tonnage. The staff is 800, and just to give you an idea of the attention that we have dedicated to culinary, we have 400. And so that is another reason why we continue to win the finest cuisine at sea. Now, this is important. Magic Cruises sells a lot of cruise, and they work with preferred suppliers. But this visual is where you can see, for many of you that have added that you sailed on Celebrity and Holland and Princess, well, where does Oceania vessels measure up? And this is a great slide for you to see just how small they are in comparison with the cruises that you've sailed on. One thing that we definitely wanted to also focus on is the design. Now, when you think about our guest type, they want to explore, right? That is, they're curators of travel experiences. And so they are sailing 7 to 180 days around the world. And we even have an epic journey of 196 days. So what's important to you is that residential feel. And we have exclusive Ralph Lauren home collection on the Marina and the Riviera. I want you to notice the colors. When all of our ships were re-inspired, we changed the palette, we changed the carpeting, we changed the wall, even the elevator banks were redone. The largest transformations were the suite and staterooms themselves, but the colors were particularly chosen to show the award-winning ports of call that we sail to. So the designers chose the colors of Santorini, and you know, those iconic pictures of the blues and the white and the soft tone browns. The suites and staterooms are beautifully appointed as well. The guests are coming with 1-2 suitcases, but we wanted to provide them with space and a residential feel. So for the 9 guests that had registered, maybe it's 18 total, you know what these suites and staterooms and how luxurious they are, but now you can see the newly inspired decor. And then of course, when we had the opportunity, we added more light, more fixtures. It's just spectacular. The one slide I want to take a little bit more time is our curated art collection. Our co-founders, Frank Del Rio and Bob Bender, actually bought every single piece of art themselves. And when they traveled, they took 2 suitcases, one with their personal belongings and one with the fabric samples and the blueprint and the architectural drawings, because when they had time to explore, they would visit galleries and studios and they would buy the artwork that they liked, hoping that it would enhance the room, the ambiance, and the overall feeling. There's one in particular story I'd like to share with you, and that was when Mr. Del Rio was in Miami. He walked into a studio, and that morning, that artist called a friend and said that he was depressed and he was going to close his studio because he wasn't moving in the direction that he had hoped, and he was just going to give up. Mr. Del Rio walked in that afternoon with a book of art, and he said to the artist, which was William Allen, can you please create 50 of these pieces of art, 30 of this particular piece of art, and 20 of this? And he changed that artist's life forever that day. Every piece of art that you see has a personal story. And when you board the ship, you can go to the reception desk, you can get an audio set, and you too can walk around the ship and learn about all the spectacular artwork that is showcased on the ships. So our accommodations range from veranda all the way up to our owner suite, from 150 to 2,000 square feet in size. The veranda and concierge are the same size, but the amenities that you get when you upgrade to the concierge begins even before you sail. You can pre-reserve your dining earlier than veranda. You have access to the spa terrace, which is complimentary to concierge guests and above. It's $25 per person per day. Now, this is not the Aquamar spa itself. It's the terrace that's all the way forward with a wonderful, relaxing area to spend days at sea. And you also have other additional amenities in the concierge, plus the services of the concierge. The penthouse suite is our most popular, and our super suites up to the owner suite, they're always the first to go. Thinking of the 60+% of past guests, they book further out and they book those suites that they love and have enjoyed. The penthouse suites have a walk-in closet and just has an additional space for your enjoyment. The Aquamar Spa and Vitality Center, we recently introduced our private labeled spa, and this is on every one of our ships. It is the ultimate experience in treatments and massage, encompasses fitness. The technicians are excellent. The atmosphere is so serene. The classes are complimentary, including Pilates and yoga, and a state-of-the-art fitness center. So this is, if you're into spa and wellness, this is for you. But we also introduced a couple years ago, before anyone else did, a plant-based menu. Very, very broad for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We also have the first at sea, a raw juice and smoothie bar and energy bowls on board the O-Class Marina and Riviera. And we have over 250 items that you can choose from, not at one sitting, but think about if you're cruising one of our grand voyages, which is over 45 days, you certainly would like to see a variety of plant-based and not the same thing every day, right? So look how scrumptious they are. So obviously we're going to appeal to the spa and wellness. We're going to appeal to those guests that love the small luxury, and we're going to appeal to those that love that finest cuisine at sea. What keeps the guests from coming back is our crew, the service. They get to know you from the minute you walk on board. And remember, the base of that grand staircase, they greet you and they will see you various times throughout the day and call you by your names. They're wonderful, and I have guests that have sailed numerous times, and now it's not the destination, it's where the butler is. It's where their family is, because they do get the sense that they're sailing with family. So the hallmark of our brand is our exquisitely crafted cuisine, and there's a very good reason for that. There's a gentleman in the upper right-hand corner, and he is our executive culinary director, Jacques Pepin. He's been part of our family since day one. His daughter Claudine is now part of our family, and inspire the two of them. They inspire our entire culinary team. We have 25% of staff dedicated to culinary on every one of our ships, and our world-class chefs are our team captains. Every restaurant has their own galley equipped with Michelin star rated equipment. So our chefs disembark in every port. They get the freshest ingredients. They get the seafood. We never have frozen seafood. They get the spices, the fruits, the vegetables, and they bring it on board. So it's local cuisine, and they prepare it, and it is just exceptional. Our leader, Jacques Pepin, has often said, it doesn't matter how talented the chef is if the ingredients are subpar. A lousy tomato is still a lousy tomato no matter what you do with it. So we source from all over the world. We get our flour from the Beauce region of France, and we even cook our breads in a specific oven to measure the humidity in the air and allows us to adjust the recipe as needed. We get our lobster from Nova Scotia, and we have been buying there for many, many years. Our beef is dry aged at a minimum of 28 days, and our lamb is from New Zealand, just to give you some idea of where we're getting this amazing cuisine from. And then we prepare it in our specialty restaurant's own galley, and we serve it in the most beautiful setting. We have the grand dining room, which serves French bistro at lunch and a continental cuisine for dinner. We have red ginger, which is a favorite of many, which focuses on Asian cuisine. Jacques Pepin has his own restaurant on the O Class, the Marina and the Riviera, and of course, that is a French cuisine. We also have our Polo Grill, which is our wonderful steakhouse and chop house. We have Toscano's, which is our Italian restaurant, and our chefs there are cooking authentic recipes from their hometown. And then, of course, one of my favorites is the Terrace Cafe, and this is the picture in the lower right-hand corner. Look at your scenery as we are sailing away from Monte Carlo at night. You can have your meals cooked to order and a table for two under the stars. Our perfect pairing is just that. We have a new partnership no place else in the world. Dom Perignon, which is a 6-course food and champagne pairing in La Reserve. And we also have 7-course food and wine pairings. Now, this is limited capacity. It seats 24. Jodi, what's it going to look like when you sail? Is it going to still be 24? That's a great question, and we'll know that soon. But it is very popular, very well received, and this book's very early. So for food and wine enthusiasts, this is perfect for you. Our culinary, as I mentioned early, the first cooking class ever at sea. You book in advance. Doesn't matter what suite or stateroom you're in. You can book these early, or Magic Cruises will walk you through that as well. The classes are really going to be geared towards the region that you're sailing. You strap on an apron, you put your hat on, you step up to a kitchen station, and you cook. You've got floor-to-ceiling windows where you can see the ocean to the right, and to the left, you can see everybody who did not sign up in time peering through the door, watching with envy as you're whipping up these amazing classes and dishes and sipping wines that are perfectly paired for what you are creating. I will stop here and interject my own personal experience. I was sailing for work. I could not take my husband, so I was a solo on that cruise. And I want to tell you that I met so many wonderful people throughout the cruise, especially in the Culinary Center, in Artist Loft, where we have our lecturers. I never felt like I was alone. And this was one example where I want to share that with you in case we have solo travelers wanting to experience our product. And our last pillar is our curated travel experiences. Now, this is something I'm really fond of. I would get travel magazines and I would read, and I would always just put that on my bucket list, and I'd want to go there, and I'd want to gobble it up, and I'd want to spend so much time there. And so I really am the perfect Oceania guest. But our co-founders from day one wanted to be involved in the destination planning, and they wanted it to be completely different than other cruise lines. And in fact, it is for 17 years. We have an Alaska season, but it's not like our sister brand where we're round trip Seattle from May until October. Yes, we will explore Alaska. Think about a small ship gobbling up the itinerary, but we do something different in maybe a 5 or a 6 week. So you're not repeating the port. And this is the same In other regions, many of our guests are doing multiple voyages and never repeating a port. So keep that in mind. And Magic Cruises will help you with your pre and your post and your flights. And what better opportunity than to add 2 voyages and make it one and never repeat a port. So we have a global footprint. We visit over 400 ports of call, over 100 countries. And to keep our guests returning, every time we come out with a new launch, we always have new ports that we've never sailed to before. So our new launch for 2022 is going to be, it's going to debut mid-November. So if you're looking for something in Europe or the Americas for 2022, you're going to want to circle back around with Magic in the beginning of November, because Patti and her magical team will know. They'll have the information by then and they'll be ready to book the day it opens. These are examples of some of our port intensive itineraries. After all, we are destination specialists. So this up in the upper left-hand corner, you can see how many flavors you visit in 10 days. Because the ships are small and luxurious, that allows us to get into the marquee and boutique ports of call, such as Cinque Terre, which is on many people's bucket list. In fact, I visited Cinque Terre as a land vacation years ago, and now you can visit from Oceania. Monte Carlo, many cruises leave in the afternoon. We depart late at night. And we get to these beautiful places and we spend more time overnighting, which is by design. Here you can see an example of an overnight in Spain, an overnight in Portugal, and an overnight in France. Very few days at sea. In fact, I just see one at the end, and you'll need it by the end, cruising the Bay of Biscay and English Channel. But this is a typical itinerary for those of you that are new to brand. And speaking of Alaska, because we are seeing from our recent holiday campaigns that Alaska for 21 is very hot right now. And so we have many itineraries, and this is the ship that sails to Alaska in 20 and 21 and 22 is the Regatta. And that is our small ship that was re-inspired last year. So because we are the destination specialist, it's more than just stopping in these wonderful boutique and marquee ports. It's the tour experience. So we created culinary tours to go hand in hand with that culinary enthusiast, where you will go off the ship with the chef or Chef Kelly, and we have other chefs as well. You'll go to the market, you'll purchase your foods in the different countries, different ports. She'll give you a list, or he'll give you a list, and you go with your team and you find these foods, and then you either go back to the culinary center and cook, or you go to the local chef's restaurant or home and you prepare there. So to me, this would be just a delight for me, and for those that love the culinary experience and something that's different, this would be for you. Our Go Local tour started over a year ago, and boy, is this really even more important now, because these are even smaller. And we created these because with our repeat guests is so high, they've cruised so many places, they want to go back, but they might want to do a different tour. So we reached out with all of our ground operators, and we developed these Go Local tours to give our guests a unique experience. So for example, if you're going to be sailing the Netherlands, you can choose this bike tour where you disembark the ship, you go to the bicycle shop, you're fitted for your bike, you get your helmet, you go off and into an adventure into the small nooks and crannies and places that the typical tours will not go. We also have a truffles tour, and this is where you disembark the ship when you're sailing in Rome, and you are met with the guide, and you hunt for truffles with the dogs. You take those truffles, you go to the local home, and they cook a wonderful meal for you, and you sip the local wine. How about that? I mean, it's just a great experience. And then there's even for those that like to put the boots on and go to a farm in the Basque Country of Spain. You learn the ancient tradition of herding sheep. I'm not kidding. And so that is another experience. But for those that love the spa and wellness, we have the wellness tours. Now, again, you book early because they are going to be small in size, and that would enhance the tour experience as well. And so there's many tours in every region where you can sign up, and Magic Cruises will help you with that. They can identify based on what your expectations are, what tours are perfect for you. We have pre and we have post tours, as I mentioned before. But what we have is something really unique, and it's called an overland tour. And this is where we carve out an incredible journey more into the interior. You disembark the ship, you motor coach, or you fly, you spend a couple nights, and you meet the ship a few days later. So you could, Machu Picchu's is on a lot of people's bucket list. This is a tour that you will take when you are sailing in South America, and you can add that on and carve that out when you are in Lima. Of course, ancient capitals of China, one night in Xi'an, one night in Beijing. You visit the Terracotta Warrior Museum, the Great Wall of China, Tiananmen Square, and the Forbidden City. And of course, we have many different safari adventures that you can add on to, and you know that's a bucket list for many. So now you can complement your cruise with something extra special. So we have excursions to fit your interest, culinary, go local, wellness, food and wine tours for those foodies, Oceania exclusive, select, and our pre and post tours. The last segment is our ultimate value. So you know we have the best small ship luxury experience. You know now that we've got the finest cuisine and the most advanced curated travel experiences. These are the pillars of Oceania. But what about the value? Well, back in April, we determined that the consumers now are going to be looking more for value than ever before. They're still going to travel, and maybe they'll, instead of doing 3 cruises a year, they'll do 2. Or maybe a 45-day, maybe they'll do a 28-day. There will be some changes, but they still want the value. So what's always included? We have our internets included, specialty restaurants, room service 24 hours a day. You don't pay for that. Shuttles from the port to the city center if the city is not in walking distance. That's a tour and a transfer that you pay for on other lines. Fitness classes are complimentary, are still and sparkling Vero water, so we eliminated millions of plastic bottles by partnering with Vero water, soft drinks and specialty coffees, and we have launderettes on all of our ships. And then of course, if you're in the higher suites, then you have someone that will pick your luggage, your laundry up for you and do it for you. But when you're traveling, this helps you cut down on the suitcases that you might want to take. Now you don't need to. Our value proposition that we have on every voyage is O-Life. So we have our 2-for-1 cruise fares. We have free round-trip air from first-tier city, and you can choose one of the 3. Shore excursions, which are the standard tours, a beverage package, which is the glass of champagne, bottle or draft beer, and glasses of wine at lunch and dinner only in the restaurants. So if you are adventurous and getting off the ship every day, that conversation with Magic Cruises might be, you might lean more towards the shore excursion or the shipboard credit. But if you've sailed and you're just wanting to relax and you do want to have that glass of wine with your lunch, then the beverage package is a good consideration. Or the shipboard credit. Now, what determines the amount of the shipboard credit And what determines how many standard tours you get is the length of the cruise. So for example, if it's a 7-day, then it's $400 shipboard credit per stateroom, or 4 standard shore excursions, 2 for the first guest, 2 for the second. And then it jumps to 6 and then 8 for the longer voyages. So Magic Cruises and Tours will walk you through that. Our ultimate sale we introduced in May, and this is as a result of the survey where the guests, consumers were wanting value. So we repriced everything, and the rates that we have loaded since May reflect the rates that we had in 2017. You combine that with our promotions, and this makes it an ultimate savings for sure. But we're also finding that we are now getting more new to brand because it is so attractive now to upgrade to upper premium. It's now is the time for you to consider that. Plus everything that's always included, when you break it down per person per day, it is a true value. A sampling, let's just take the Rome to Athens 7-day O-Life package with the ultimate savings is $25.49 with airfare. The Glacial Adventures Seattle 10-day on the Regatta with airfare, and the ultimate price $32.99 from. And the Northern Gateways, which is so popular as well, is the Stockholm to Copenhagen 10-day O-Life with airfare $38.49. The other poll we took was what the consumers were looking for with a supplier, and they're looking for more flexibility. And so based on that feedback, we came up with our Traveler's Assurance program, and we rolled it out in the beginning of the second quarter. When you pay in full, you now can cancel outside 15 days, and you will get 100% future cruise credit and no penalty. But you have to pay in full, but that is giving you the assurance that you can book further out in these times. The exclusive amenities that we have with Magic Cruises and Tours includes prepaid gratuities available on select itineraries. So if you're in a concierge and below, it's $16 per person per day. On a 10-day, that value is $320. 14-day, that value is $448. If you're booking a penthouse and above, $23 per person per day. A 10-day sailing, that value is $460, and a 14-day sailing, that value is $644. They have other departure dates that offer additional exclusive amenities, and you'll definitely want to inquire with Magic Cruises and Tours, because if you're flexible and you're wanting to go to Alaska, one sailing might not offer these exclusive amenities, but the next one will. And remember, we're in that region for that season, and the itineraries are different. But they also have distinctive voyages as well that offer a host, private cocktail party, and a complimentary shore event. But also, in addition to what's always included, in addition to the ultimate savings, in addition to the exclusive amenity, we are also partnering with Magic Cruises and Tours. Booking a veranda and above, you can earn $250 shipboard credit for new bookings made between today and October 6th. So it's a 2-week window, and that gives you time to have those conversations with the amazing magical team. So while we wrap up, I want you to remember what you love about travel. Before people were jumping on the call, Patti, Marcia, and I were talking about where we want to travel to. You can enter that in your chat, or we can unmute and you can share with me and all of us where you want to go next. Back in the day, I told my husband I didn't want to travel to the same place. There's so many other new places I want to see, and I've not seen everything and everywhere. And honestly, and I'm sure you feel the same way, I would go anywhere right now. Travel's in my heart and in my blood, and it just makes me smile when I think about it. So we are going to open it up. Marcia and Patti, are you unmuted?
Yep, I'm ready to go. We have some questions from some folks.
let's
Wow,
hear what the
good.
questions are. Yeah.
So
Okay.
Mary Lou was asking about what's the dress code on board?
Oh, okay. So that's a great question. So think about when you are disembarking the ship and you're wearing your attire to be out for the day and even into the evening. And when you get back on board, you can dress in for the women, skirts, slacks, a dress. For the men, I would tell my husband what he would wear to a country club. So there's no tuxes. He would not pack a tie. Maybe if we were dining in jocks, he would pack a jacket, but it's really not. It's not formal, and that's something that we wanted to completely steer away from the beginning 17 years ago.
Okay. Let's see what else we have here. Here's one about shore excursions. So if we do the shore excursions packet, would they get, can they do the culinary tours or the wellness tours?
So thank you. That's another great question, and that means that we have some eager listeners there. That they would not be included. They're not considered the standard tours, and we have in every single port the ability to Magic Cruises has the ability to define every single tour, what's standard and what is exclusive, and where's the culinary and where's the wellness and the cost. If you take the shore excursion package, which is an incredible value, we base it on an average of $199 per person per tour. There are some that are lower than that. There's standards that are even higher than that. But there are many in every single port that you can choose from. Now, if there is an exclusive or a culinary or wellness tour that you want to do on that particular day, then you book your standard on the preceding day or following day. As long as you have 2 for the first guest and 2 for the second, and if you're doing a 10-day or longer, then you can purchase the other tours.
Okay, great. Let's see. There was another one. We saw free airfare. Do we get free airfare from Columbus?
Okay, so let me see. Columbus, Ohio. No, we don't. Let's see. The Cincinnati what would be the closest gateway? It would be Columbus. Then it would be
Cincinnati, Detroit, Cleveland, Pittsburgh. Any of those?
okay. So Columbus is a $199 add-on. Cleveland, Cincinnati is a $199 add-on. So that's not of the 30 that is a first tier city. And you said Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh or Detroit?
Let me see. Pittsburgh is not a first tier city, so that would be $199. Detroit is. Detroit is included as a first tier city. Okay.
Great.
So Columbus is a second tier city, so it's just $199 add-on.
Correct.
Hey, Jodi, I've got a lot of people who are saying, will there still be buffets on the cruises? How does Oceania handle that?
So that's a great question. We never have buffets. We don't have buffets. Our guests don't serve themselves. If they're inquiring because of the tourist cafe, that is a more casual atmosphere, but everything is cooked to order and you are served. So the guests don't handle the food at all.
Well, that's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you were talking about Alaska, I mean, again, I could go to Alaska every single year if I had a choice. But what kind of, do you have pre and post packages with Alaska itineraries for 21?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And if you've been there every single year, Patti, I know that you're an expert when it comes to that destination, and you know that they love to do the Denali adventure, more of the interior. So we offer pre and post from Fairbanks, Seward, from Anchorage, but we also we also offer we partner with Rocky Mountaineer, and so you can do Rocky Mountaineer as an add-on as well, 4-night or 6-night from Calgary or Vancouver.
I saw that. That's awesome.
And many of the guests absolutely do that and love it.
I have one of the guests who wanted to ask about for the air if Milwaukee or Chicago are first tier. I think Chicago is, right?
Both Midway and O'Hare, and it is. And let me see if Milwaukee.
Milwaukee might be second tier.
Yes, it is 199.
Okay, so Chicago and would be first tier for free airfare, and Milwaukee would be an add-on. Okay, great, thanks.
You're welcome.
One other thing that folks were asking, you mentioned concierge level. Can you talk a little bit about what folks get with concierge level?
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so everyone in the standard staterooms, they get the mini bar with complimentary soft drinks and the Vero water. They get the Belgian chocolates at night. They get I forgot to even mention our Prestige Tranquility bag, which is amazing. It's an Oceania exclusive with 1,000 thread count linens. Everyone gets the DVD player with extensive media library, a teak veranda, mirror, magnifying mirror, 24-hour room service, security safe, etc. But when you upgrade to the concierge, you get all that plus the Bulgari toiletries. You get room service from the grand dining room menu during lunch and dinner. You get new free laundry service up to 3 bags per stateroom. You get access to the Aquamar Spa and Vitality Center private spa terrace, which is normally $25 per person per day to enter. You get the complimentary welcome bottle of champagne, priority ship embarkation. You get access to the concierge lounge if it's on an O class. We don't have a concierge lounge on the R class. And some merchandise that you get, and complimentary the cashmere lap blankets for relaxing on your veranda. So with every upgrade, you continue to get more amenities. But when you price out the difference from veranda to concierge and you break it out per person per day, you see the value of upgrading to concierge on day one.
And I
Sounds
think,
awesome.
Jodi, unless I missed it, I think the other thing is the concierge guests get to select their specialty dining a little further in advance as well.
You do. Correct.
Does it make any difference on when guests can book shore excursions?
Shore excursions, we just announced a couple weeks ago that they can now book 365 days prior to sailing.
Okay. And then you did mention in when you were traveling on your own that you felt pretty comfortable as a single traveler, but do they have single fares or single rates?
Good question.
We do list select solo sailings at a reduced rate, and we are updating in a couple of days, and I will get that to you so that you'll be able to provide your solo guests with the most up-to-date list of itineraries. But in addition, we download the manifest the week of the voyage, days before the voyage. We recognize who is solo, and we organize a meet and greet. But as I mentioned, my own experience, the Culinary Center, there's the Artist Loft where we have bridge, art classes, lecturers, and even when you're signing up for the tours, you're always a part of a family, of a sense, of a group. So the ships are small. You get to meet other guests, and we have open dining. So there's guests that do want to dine with others. Now, what is that going to look like when we sail? That's a great question, and we'll know soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was another question about, you mentioned the free gratuities on the Select Sailings. I think maybe Patti can answer that. We have a list of those, right? The Select Sailings.
Yes, we do. Yep. And they're already planned out through, oh boy, I think all the way out to some 2021, 2021 up to 20, I think even 2022. I'm looking at a few.
So our Asia and Tropics debuted, and it goes to the first quarter of 2020.
Yes. Yeah, I see that all the way through April. End of May even a little bit. And we're going to be sending that out to all the guests who registered for the presentation today. Unless we have other questions, I think we're going to wrap it up. But I just want to say thank you, Jodi. You've done a great job by sharing what really is the essence of Oceania Cruises. And I'm going to put a challenge out there to all of you to please send me, where do you want to go? where are you thinking about going? Because we'll try to put something together that might just be fun to do together. But we will tomorrow, we'll be sending out an email to each of you with the list of our select dates, along with some other videos and information to give you a little bit more experience about what Oceania offers. And we appreciate your time today. We miss you all so much, and we hope that you'll just continue to give us a call whenever we can help you. We're happy to assist in any way we can, and we look forward to traveling. So thank you very much for your time today.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.